Hello, everyone, and good evening. We are so happy to have you here, and welcome to our virtual admitted student event. My name is Mikaelin Miller, and I am a senior here at IU. I am studying marketing, professional sales, and business law and ethics through the Kelley School of Business. And we are so happy to have you here. We have an awesome event planned for you. And just so you know, closed captioning is provided by ACS Captioning, and you can add it by clicking the closed captioning option on your Zoom toolbar. You'll hear more from me later, but now please join us in welcoming Sasha Teamy, Assistant Vice Provost and Executive Director of Admissions.
Thanks so much, Mikaelin. Families, welcome. We are so honored to host you in this virtual Admitted Student Day program. While we wish we could be hosting you on our beautiful campus, this visit experience is still pretty unique, and it's especially important, as now you are considering the IU experience with the lens of a student who has earned every right and privilege to take advantage of all that this university has to offer. Everything seems a little more real now. And speaking of your admission, congratulations. You all received that great big envelope, but today we get to celebrate your hard work in a unique way, knowing that we often have people in our corner if we are so fortunate. I know some of you are watching with those people now, so I'm going to ask you to turn to them and out loud, I can hear you, out loud, thank them for all the support they have given you and for being with you here this evening. And for those of you who have supporters elsewhere, give them a big shout out and a quick note of thanks. We certainly do. Families, we applaud you and we thank you for all the support you're showing your students throughout this journey. And speaking of everyone who's here today, students, do you know that in this virtual space, we may have 40 of our United States and 22 different countries represented? That is the power of IU. Just tonight, we have friends from Oregon to Maine, from Mongolia to Argentina, and everywhere in between. So even though you are joining from places very near and very far, you have one important thing in common: your goal for a powerful and impactful college experience. As author Frank Bruni stated, college shouldn't take you out of the real world, but it should thrust you into it, exposing you to places unlike places you have already inhabited and people different from the ones you have surrounded yourself with thus far. Well, IU brings together students from far and wide, not just tonight, but every single day that you are here, with a million different life experiences who use this time to become their best, just as you will. Students, as you enter your college experience, you will be preparing for careers, some of which haven't been imagined. So how do you do that? You take a multidisciplinary approach. You find an institution that really grounds you in the liberal arts, offers you a wide range of majors, minors, and certificates, but also provides you with advisors and faculty who are trained to support you on your own interdisciplinary path. An institution that has not one, but about 10 different career services offices. So as your interests become more specific, so does your career advising. They help you package all of your experiences in a way that leads you to a positive and productive outcome, and one that is really just specific to you. And then you add on one of the largest alumni networks in the nation, nearly about 700,000 people, other Hoosiers who are ready to support you in your journey. At IU, you can consider more than 200 majors and 550 degree programs. And that's just today. We are continuously evaluating and adding programs to help students like you prepare to meet the changing needs of a truly global society. In fact, 60% of IU students will graduate with more than one credential. So it's not just something we say, it's something students do. For you, it might be our top-rated School of Education, Kelley School of Business. Maybe you want to major in English and prepare for med school at the same time. From finance to folklore, theater to bioinformatics, it is all here. And if you can't find something that fits you perfectly, even with combining, you can consider the individualized major program. Students, maybe you take advantage of the more than 70 language programs. In fact, it's more than any university in the nation. The students you will meet throughout this program and throughout your experience tonight are great examples of how you can blend it all together. At IU, we also know that preparation for those jobs unknown will involve combining your academic learnings with practical, meaningful, and high impact experiences. You will get the experience you need by taking advantage of the fifth largest overseas study program in the country with more than 380 different unique offerings, truly making the globe an extension of your classroom. And while that seems far away, students, we will get back there. You will test your theories and your interests by conducting critical research in your field, not just in the hard sciences, but in languages and culture as well. And you'll be doing this with world-renowned faculty. You may also secure internships. They give you direct experience in the work related to your course of study, or sometimes they cause you to consider paths you didn't even know you were considering. And the beautiful thing, too, is that it's all of this opportunity for professional success, bundled with the experience of personal fulfillment. Students, this is where you will be forging lifelong friendships and building lasting and amazing memories. You get to experience year-round arts and cultural events. There are over 1,100 performances just through our Jacobs School of Music. Participate maybe in one or more of our 750 student organizations and cheer on world-class athletes from Hoosier Hysteria in Assembly Hall to a Broadway show in the IU Auditorium. Or maybe you attend a production that may have been written, directed, designed, and performed by you or one of your friends. There are so many options, and I can't wait for you to hear our students talk about how they've truly embraced this IU experience. Because at IU, you are going to turn these options into your opportunity. You'll be working toward a degree that sets you apart, an experience that is designed to fit these times and the times tomorrow and the times the next day and the times in the future. You'll work with award-winning professors, students from all around the world, and classes built for the modern era. You will study and live among the future leaders, artists, policymakers of our world, and together, students, together, you're actually going to be the third century of Indiana University. We know these times are so different, and they will be forever changed. And so in times like this, they demand a new kind of experience. And so we invite you to meet this new day with the skills you will develop at IU. Tonight, we have developed a robust agenda for your visit experience, and we truly want this to be an experience. We know May 1 will be here before we know it, so we encourage you to ask your questions and gather the final information you need to measure your options and make your decision. We will certainly be here and be available to answer questions beyond today, and we'll work to provide you with the clearest steps we can to your enrollment. So at this time, I'm going to invite Michaelan to provide you with information regarding your next experience for this evening. Students, we want to applaud you, we want to celebrate you, and we thank you for your interest in Indiana University. And we wish you the greatest success in this next stage of your academic career. We just hope that your journey continues at IU. So have a wonderful evening. We wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you so much, Sasha. And now I'd like to share with you all a little bit about my unique IU story. So as I mentioned earlier, I grew up in Indiana. I have lived here my entire life. And when I was 18 and graduating high school, I had it in my head I absolutely was not staying in this state. I was getting the heck out of Dodge. Mom and Dad, hop on an airplane, see me later. I am going somewhere warm because I hate the snow. So I hardly looked at IU because I had it in my head. I wasn't going to go here. My mom actually ended up making me apply, and I begrudgingly, as a teen, was like, all right, fine, whatever. If it's going to make you happy, I'll do it. So I got in, and I was direct admit to the Kelley School of Business, and we did some events with the Kelley School. And the more events I did, the more I realized that this was the place I was meant to be. I knew I had an interest in business, but my interest in business has to do with regulatory frameworks in public policy and government. And I knew I wanted to go to law school when I got done here. talking to the professors and the admissions directors and everyone at IU and at Kelly, I was never told no. I was never told that I couldn't go to law school and get a master's degree at the same time. I was never told that it was silly to do business instead of public policy. And I was supported along my entire journey. And that's why I chose IU, is because I have felt welcomed, I have felt cared for, and I love this place. It is my home away from home. My little sister is actually a first year student here, and she's actually going to be a doctor, and she's had the exact same experience. No one has told her she can't do something. It's always been open doors and opportunities. And now that you know more about what your IU experience could be like, it's time to start taking the next steps to becoming a Hoosier. I'd now like to welcome Lauren Mixon, our Assistant Admissions Director, to get our expert panel started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, McKaylin. My name is Lauren Mixon. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions. If you haven't heard it before, congratulations on your admissions to IU. We are so excited that you're joining us this evening. And so now we are going to have a little Q&A with some very important people. You'll be able to hear from someone from our residential programs and services, along with a member from our first year experience program, to discuss unique IU housing and orientation and first year experience opportunities and questions that you may have as you begin this transition to IU. And so with this in mind, we're going to start you off with a little poll, because we are very interested to hear what types of questions you will have regarding our first year experience and housing. Are you interested in campus life and culture, residence hall, communities? We want to hear from you, and make sure that you're taking advantage of that Q&A functionality in your Zoom toolbar. Again, this is your opportunity for you to really share with us and hear from the experts. In addition to our experts who are on the call, we do have people behind the scenes answering your questions. So again, make sure you're taking time for that. We'll give you about 10 more seconds to fill in our poll here. It looks like a lot of questions about just all of the above. They want to hear all of the information, which is great. That's awesome. We're so excited to hear from you. So thank you so much for sharing that. We'll have an opportunity to discuss a little bit more with our experts. So let's kick it off with Sarah, if you don't mind introducing yourself and giving a little overview. Or I'm sorry, actually maybe Lloyd is going first. My apologies.
Yeah, I can start us off. Hi, everybody. Greetings to you from whatever time zone you are tuning in from. So excited to be with you. My name is Lloyd Graham. I'm an assistant director with residential programs and services. I'm actually from Northeast Ohio, like Youngstown, Cleveland area. That's where I grew up. I actually went to The Ohio State University for undergrad and then came to Indiana University for graduate school. And then worked at Georgia Southern University in university housing there for about 3.5 years, and then transitioned to Clemson University and worked in university housing there for about 2.5 years, and then transitioned back to IU in the role that I'm in now in 2016. And I mentioned all of those things to highlight the experience that I've had working with students within the residential environment at different institutions, but also to acknowledge that a lot of the people that will be kind of engaging with your student, if they were to live with us, have the same background as me. And so in my graduate work, I was in the higher education and student affairs program, where we focused a lot on student development theory, which is essentially the best ways to support and help students develop in a college environment. And so rest assured that the residential environment is filled with graduate students, full-time staff, and undergraduate students who are focused on your student success, namely within the capacity of our residential curriculum. And so we want to shape our residential environments to be places of learning and growth, and we do that intentionally through learning goals and learning outcomes that manifest themselves in a lot of different ways. So one-on-one engagement, a workshop, a bulletin board, all of those different things. And our focus is on civic stewardship, intellectual engagement, understanding self and others, and well-being. In addition to that, there are other opportunities for your students to engage, of which include learning communities, which we have two different types: living learning centers and then thematic communities. And I'll describe these just a little bit. Living learning centers are a little bit more structured. They're connected to an academic unit. For instance, the Kelley School of Business. There's a 1 to 3 credit hour course that students would take. All those students would be living together in the same residence hall in a consolidated area, so maybe a few different floors, and have staff, advisors, facilities, amenities that would all be focused and kind of intended for them and their engagement. It's a great opportunity to make connections, great opportunity to engage with the same subject matter, from an academic perspective, but also be able to learn, engage, and grow in a very meaningful way. Thematic communities are similar, but they're a little less structured in the sense that they are more focused on a shared interest. And so they're not connected to an academic unit and there's not a course connected to it, but it's more so kind of connecting potentially related to an identity or a passion that they may have. Both of those opportunities may have a fee associated with them. And then for the Living Learning Centers, there is an application process that is involved with that. Whereas thematic communities, it's more so kind of interest-based and a first come, first served basis. So those opportunities, as well as other opportunities to be engaged with student government, conduct boards, working potentially for residential programs and services, are all opportunities to engage within the residential environment. So let's get into what is involved in the whole process to apply. So the assignment process is a little different for this year. First and foremost, which is the same every year, if you are submitting a residency exemption request, make sure you do that first off. Because that submission of the application does come with a $200 non-refundable application fee. And so that exemption could be that you're over the age of 21, your family or guardians may live within a 25-mile radius of Bloomington, so you may not be living in the residence halls. There may be some COVID-specific things, so make sure you apply for that exemption first before applying for housing. The next piece that's pretty different from years past is just that there are priority windows or priority groups that exist this year, as opposed to submitting your application and prioritization being on a first come, first served basis. And that change was created primarily to accommodate more students, and then also to acknowledge that there are so many different reasons why you may not be able to get your application in right on February 1st. And so we wanted to make sure that we tried to accommodate as many people as possible. So as you can see on the screen, the first kind of priority group or window is February 1st through May 1st. You have until May 10th actually to submit your application and make any changes that you want. So let's say you submitted February 23rd, which is tomorrow. You can make as many changes as you want up until May 10th, and you will still be in that, May 1st, and you would still be in that first priority window. You have until May 10th to make any changes before we start assigning students to their the first group of students to spaces. In addition to that, you may be interested in roommates, and so you are able to have a roommate for the this upcoming year. You can request a roommate on your application. You can request to be placed with a roommate, or you can elect to live by yourself. Make sure that the requests that you do make, though, are mutual with whoever that you want to live with, and you prioritize living with them if that is the case. In terms of being paired with someone randomly, there is no kind of information or research out there that says that it's more likely that you'll have a more meaningful or better experience with someone that you know versus someone that you don't know. And typically it's half and half in terms of students living with people that they already know and people that they don't know. So once again, it's been great engaging with you, and I look forward to any questions that you might have.
Thank you. And now for our expert from First Year Experience.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Nagy, and I work in the Office of First Year Experience Programs, and we're your partner through the entire first year. So the things that we facilitate include new student orientation, Welcome Week, as well as our year-long engagement program called the Hoosier Experience. So the first thing that you'll do with us will be attend your new student orientation. And I will tell you that it's required for all students because it's the best way to get started on the correct foot in your IU experience. During that orientation program, you will register for your classes, as well as engage with our student staff, your orientation leader, meet other students, and be introduced to a wide variety of resources. In preparation for that, you will participate in our Canvas modules that allow you to prepare for your advising appointment, learn about those resources in an online environment. During your orientation time, you will sign up for an appointment with an advisor, as well as a small group facilitated by our orientation leaders, so that you can connect with other students as well as select your classes. We'll keep you during that orientation process. We'll keep you on task. There's lots of things that you need to do to be able to prepare to come, and we'll make sure that you do that through that orientation process. The way that you get invited to orientation is you complete your intent to enroll. So once you've committed to Indiana University and done your intent to enroll, that signals to our office to invite you to orientation. We will start opening that invitation system in around April 1st, and it will run through the orientation time. You will choose your dates that will be in either June or July, and we'll have a variety of sessions during that time period that will either be in person, where you'll actually, not in person, but in real time, where you'll interact with our staff, or things that you can do on your own time. Once you've completed your orientation, you'll have an opportunity to engage with us with our Crimson Connection program. And the Crimson Connection program is where you opt in, and these are groups of students that will connect you with. They'll be facilitated by our orientation staff, so that you can start meeting people right away and making those connections, so that when you come into campus or you're interacting in classrooms virtually, you will know some folks who you have already interacted and gotten to know. We kick off the fall semester with Welcome Week, and Welcome Week is a really proud tradition here at Indiana University. It helps students get connected to resources, to other folks, to learn about campus, the traditions. We have things like the induction ceremony, where you're welcomed academically to the institution, where you get familiar with traditions and spirit and our athletics, learn about all the cultures that exist here. It's a great time to start adjusting to campus. And then we work with you throughout the first year in our Hoosier Experience program, working with campus partners to introduce you to a wide variety of opportunities and events, so that you can continue to explore, you can continue to learn, can continue to figure out what you want to do and really create that Hoosier experience. We stay connected with you. We'll check in with you about 4 or 5 weeks in the semester just to check in and see how you're doing, what types of resources you might need. We provide regular newsletters to both our parents and families, as well as our students. And then we also have an ongoing website. And for our parents and families, we offer orientation just for you, so that you know the information that will best serve your students. So we really see ourselves as a partner through this experience, helping our first year students successfully transition to Indiana University and to become the Hoosiers and become part of the Hoosier family. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about orientation on Welcome Week or transitioning throughout the first year. Thank you.
Lloyd and Sarah, thank you so much for sharing those quick overviews. We do have a few questions. Lloyd, this question is for you. Can you, if you haven't said already, but if you did, can you repeat when we will be notified of our housing assignments?
Yeah, I did not mention that. So in terms of notification, it does vary depending on what type of notification. The first type of notification of building and costs associated with that would come in kind of like mid-June, which is right around the time orientation kind of experiences would be happening. And then later on in late July, you would get more specific information about your roommate, and then room number so that you can plan more for the upcoming academic year in terms of who's bringing what and that type of thing.
Okay, great. And I'm assuming all of that is being sent via email, correct?
Yes, that would be communicated through email. You can also stay up to date with us by checking our website, housing.indiana.edu, and then following us on social media as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lloyd. And Sarah, can you share how can a student get in contact with an academic advisor or when they'll meet their academic advisor?
Sure thing. And one thing I'd like to add, because I see a lot of questions coming into the chat, our new student orientation will be virtual in the summer to continue to be safe with the realities that COVID is continuing to present us. So we will be virtual. If we get an opportunity to do some things on campus, then we'll let everyone know. So you will meet an academic advisor as part of your orientation program. So you will meet one-on-one with an advisor to select your classes. Then you'll be assigned the advisor for your remaining first year before you come for campus. If you have an interest in chatting with an academic advisor and you are interested in a particular school, you can reach out to that school directly to engage with an academic advisor. If you don't have a particular school, our university division, which is the home to all of our first year students who are not directly admitted, have a variety of advisors that you can just reach out to that office and talk with them. If you're exploring, if you'd like to know what things look like, they are a great resource, but you can reach out directly to those offices.
Thank you. And we are also getting a lot of questions about if IU is having in-person visits or tours during the spring. And so at this time, we're unfortunately unable to offer on-campus tours. However, I want you all to know that we are working very closely with our university officials and I hope to make that possible, but continue to look for updates and check in with us at admissions.indiana.edu. Of course, we love to have you on campus. There's nothing that we would like more, but unfortunately, we're unable to do that at this time. Lloyd, back to you. Can you tell us a little bit about dining halls and if they'll be open next year? Can you offer any advice in selecting a meal plan?
Absolutely. So dining right now, our dining is open. And so there's lots of different offerings. We have 3 different meal plans that we offer: the standard, the plus, and the max. The standard in general is about $15 a day in terms of going towards meals. The plus is about $21 a day. And then the max is about $27 a day. We recommend, and the most popular is the standard because it can always be added to. You can't take away from what you've already paid for. And so that typically is enough, but if you need more, you can always add to it. We have dining options that are open at least 19 hours a day. Everything is a la carte. And so there's lots of different dining locations, pretty much any building that you go into. We utilize Grubhub so that we don't necessarily have folks eating in close proximity to each other. We do have some spaces available for students to eat in person, but a large number of our students typically get their things to go.
Great, thank you. That's good to know. Sarah, so you did mention that new student orientation is virtual, and so students are just wondering what opportunities are there to meet people during orientation and throughout the beginning of the semester?
Sure, absolutely. So during orientation, you have a variety of options there. We will put you into a small group with a student staff member where you will connect with other students there. Then you'll have some opportunities throughout the week. What we're asking is students to sign up for a advising appointment and then a small group appointment within the same week, within the same time period. And throughout that week, there'll be other opportunities to engage in some other things, whether it be a a virtual tour with some other folks, or whether it be a Q&A with a particular office. And then the Crimson Connection groups will be another opportunity. You can sign up for that, and they'll meet virtually prior to the beginning of the semester. And then Welcome Week is a great opportunity to meet other students as you participate in tours around campus. And then you also meet them in your residence hall, on your floor, and those types of things. So there's lots of opportunities to engage. And then there's one of the great tips I've heard from our student staff members is, when you're in class, whether it be virtual or in person, we're not quite sure how that's going to play out, but if you're in class virtually, introduce yourself in the chat to people and start making those connections. There are opportunities to do this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I have seen that there's a few questions about how to get your IU email address. If you have not done so already, you need to create your IU computing account. And information about this is on our admissions website at admissions.indiana.edu. This information was also sent to in your admit email and also in your enrollment packet. So you can also check our next steps tab on the website, as I mentioned, as well as those other locations. Well, thank you so much, Sarah and Lloyd, for sharing and giving us your expertise on these issues. Continue to submit questions as you have them. Before we conclude our panel, I just want to remind everyone, make sure that you're visiting our admissions website. Again, that's admissions.indiana.edu, and visit our Steps to Enroll tab at the top of that website. This is a great site, has tons of resources for our admitted students, offering some more information about everything new Hoosiers need to know about enrollment and orientation, housing, submitting your FAFSA, and more. So to get to that website, again, click the Steps to Enroll tab at the top of the website. And we want you to be #IUbound and join our fall 2021 freshman class. As a reminder, the national candidates reply date is May 1st. You certainly have until May 1 to declare your interest in attending IU, but at any time that you are ready to secure your space in the freshman class by completing your intent to enroll online at admissions.indiana.edu. Again, as an admitted student, you will have access to our 2021 New Hoosiers community. More information about that will be sent to your email. If you have not found out already, your email is in a very important place to check. So continue looking there for all of the updates and information about your transition to IU Bloomington. And make sure, again, if you have not done so, complete your IU computing account. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact either the Office of Admissions, Residential Programs and Services, or First Year Experience. We are here to help. And so, McKaylin, I will give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren, and thank all of you for joining us today for our first session in the virtual admitted student event. This is a super exciting time in your journeys, and we are so happy to have you here with us today again.